Tried to do handstands for you, but every time I fell for you, I'm permanently black and blue, permanently blue.
Well, there goes our ride. We're on our own. Nobody around for at least 10 or 12 miles. Day one of our 2-day test walk. We're at the Navy base, or headed towards the Navy base. It's 7:30 or 8 in the morning. We're a little bit behind schedule. We've got 18 miles to do today from the Navy base up to Salton Sea Beach Marina, and take a break, and then 8 or 9 miles back to base camp. So a total of 18 or 19 miles today. We got in yesterday afternoon, checked out some of the roads, had a great dinner with our friends at the Echo Media Compass Save Our Sea group at base camp. Had a great dinner, went out and spent some time on the shore at night, looking up at the beautiful Milky Way, watching the lightning off in the distance miles away. Saw some shooting stars. It was just a beautiful night at Salton Sea last night. Well, that's the Border Patrol driving off. Just got stopped. Had a long talk with the Border Patrol agent. Had a good long talk. It was cool, no problem. But he did want to know what we were doing here and why we were here. So we explained, told him about Salton Sea Walk and why we want to save the Salton Sea, and he was interested and pretty cool, and had a little chit chat, and we're going on our way and he's going on his way. So had us a little concerned there, but no problem. Well, we just came up on being able to see Salton Sea Beach in the distance, 5 or 6 miles up in front of us. Just came into view, and we're coming up on what looks like is an unplanned water crossing. We've got salt flat here that you can see is, stick it in there, a little bit soft. We're actually sinking in it right now. And just over that little hill there, a few yards away, is looks like running water that we may have to cross. So this might be an issue. Just another challenge to figure out, so let's go figure it out. Well, turns out that was a false alarm. There was some mud flat that we had to cross over. But as we got up into the desert, it firmed up. It rained yesterday, and these rivers were flash flooded. Not rivers, they're dry creeks, but they weren't dry yesterday, so they were still soft. We had to walk around that. And then what we thought was going to be a water crossing is really just nothing. So we are headed back to the shore and back on track. Only 5 or 6 miles away from our lunch break in Salton Sea Beach at the marina. Got another creek crossing that's still damp and very slippery. I don't know if you can see my mud that I'm trying to not slip in. Again, it's still wet from yesterday's rain, very slippery, and we've crossed 2 or 3 of these, and the further north we get, it seems the worse or thicker and wetter they are because of yesterday's rainstorm. But yesterday these were flowing with, I don't want to call them flash floods, but torrential, raging little rivers for a few hours yesterday. But today it's almost dried up except for the mud, which is very slow and challenging to to walk through. I expect that this time, when we do the walk in June next year, these will be dry as a bone. Yeah, don't fall there. Is nothing but mud. Just white, salty, silty mud for miles. We've been in it since that last water crossing, so half a mile or a mile. And as far as we can see to the shore, toward Salton City, or Salton Sea Beach where we're headed, it's just mud flats and mud. And it's not too deep. We're not sinking in it, but it's very difficult to walk in. If you can see, my shoe is a bit caked.
Look at that.
Blake has got a little bit on his shoes, just a bit. And it's like walking on ice. You walk and you slide. It's kind of treacherous and very slow. So instead of our great 3 miles an hour that we were making a little while ago, we're now making probably about half a mile an hour at this pace. So we had to call ahead to tell our lunch crew and our pickup crew to expect us to be about an hour late while we make our way through this mud. This is tough. Blake says it's getting better, which means he's only sinking 1 inch instead of 2 inches. But it is actually hard to walk because the mud is just so deep caked on both of our shoes. So, just another challenge. And this is because of the rain from yesterday, no doubt, because we had a downpour yesterday, a storm came through. So again, I don't expect this next year in June. It's just making it more exciting and challenging and interesting for us today. Well, we're coming up to the lunch break, Salton Sea Beach, and we've come up on this standing water that is going to be an issue. We can't cross through that. We've been walking through mud for most of the last 6 miles, and we've been going real slow. But there's no way we're going to get through this. It looks, at least here, just too wet and muddy. So we've got to cut up to the beach, or cut up to the desert and across it, and then back down to the beach, and then off in the distance is where our team is waiting to give us nice cold drinks and lunch. But we're still less than a mile away, but it seems like a long way to go. Well, we just finished lunch on Crystal Avenue in the Salton City Beach Marina, and we're walking back down now toward, I think it's Honolulu Avenue, to get around those little marinas, and then we'll be headed back out to the beach. So we've got 12 miles in and 7 or 8 more miles to go, and it's only about 90 degrees. I don't even think it's 95 degrees, but we did go through 5-6 miles of just pure mud. That was the worst mud we've ever gone through, and that was pretty tiring, just not slipping and falling and trudging through it. It was pretty tough. So hopefully we won't hit much more on the other side. There's probably going to be some, but hopefully not as bad, because it did seem to get better the further north we got. Well, we're getting close to the end of day 1. We're 16 and a half miles in. We've got 3 or 4 miles to go. It's been a nice cool day. It's 90, maybe 95. It's been a nice breeze most of the day. It's really, heat has not been an issue. It's pretty pleasant compared to what we're used to. We're just out of Salton City by a few miles. The last few miles since lunch have been easy going. Nice, dry, hard, firm desert ground, and the shoreline has been nice compared to that 5 or 6 miles of mud that we went through earlier this morning, which was just horrible. The worst we've been through. So we're getting ready to finish up for the day. Hopefully we will make it out of here before sundown. The sun is starting to drop a little bit low, but we still got at least a couple of hours worth of sunlight. We'll be heading up to base camp and looking forward to some nice barbecued burgers and spending the night out under the stars again like last night. It was a beautiful night last night. It's nice and clear today. Expect another beautiful night at Salton Sea tonight, looking at the Milky Way and shooting stars. We're having a really great time. Well, today is kind of a vacation day. We're at the abandoned Navy base at Salton Sea. The film crew's getting a little bit of footage to use in the documentary. We're just kind of sightseeing. It's cool today. It's probably only 90 degrees. Beautiful day at Salton Sea. We're at the Navy base and we have found the abandoned test bunkers, or whatever they are. Walking into it for the first time to see what it's like. Alright, this is more of the inside of the bunker. It's pretty big, 10 or 12 feet tall. Communications and electrical equipment. High-tech communication equipment, clearly. So we accomplished our mission yesterday. We did our 20-mile walk. We were going to do a few more miles today, but decided against it because had some blister issues on the feet, and it was just too beautiful of a day to waste walking. So we're just taking a vacation day today. So we've accomplished what we came for. We wanted to make sure we could stay in the motorhome overnight, that we'd all fit without killing each other, and be able to sleep and get up and walk and sustain ourselves, and we've accomplished that. So it has been a great weekend. We've learned a few things. We scratched off 20 miles off of our scouting list on the map, and looking forward to the next scouting trip in a couple of months.